Hello friends, good morning. I am Dr. Pravin Tirgar, Professor in School of Pharmacy, RK University. I am representing RK University, which is situated into the Gujarat state. It is one of the safest and highly developed state into the India. Today, I am discussing with you about a very good health profession, that is a pharmacy. Pharmacy is a very good into this pandemic situation. So today we are discussing about various aspects of the pharmacy. Our key learning aspect is clinical trial and drug discovery. We are also discussing what pharmacists can do in community pharmacy, clinical pharmacy, hospital pharmacy, and pharmaceutical manufacturing. So let's move ahead in the journey of this webinar, pharmacy, a global health profession in pandemic situation. Before explaining about the pharmacy profession and to the pandemic situation, I will discussing about few invention made by the pharmacist. This is one of the famous brand you heard, Coca-Cola. It is a Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola formula drink is made by one pharmacist, that is a US pharmacist. It is made by the John Stith in 1885. Today's most of all the countries they consume the Coca-Cola. Similarly, another brand in soft drink, that is a Pepsi. It is made by the US pharmacist, that is a Caleb Bradham in 1989. 70% of the soft drinks into the world they are consumed by the Pepsi Cola or the Coca-Cola. I think you heard about the aspirin. Whenever you have headache, you have the pain, it is used. And you know, this synthesized by the in 1897 by the Felix Hoffmann. It is a German pharmacist. Another discovery made by the pharmacy is the morphine in 1805 by the Friedrich Sattner. Friedrich Sattner is a German pharmacist who discovered the morphine. Morphine is widely useful into the deep pain and surgery. When the pain is there, there is intense pain in surgery, the morphine is widely used. Another pharmacist that discovered 1823 about quinine, caffeine, and strychnine. These are the alkaloid that is synthesized from the plant by the Pierre Joseph. These are the few inventions. There are lots of invention. Let's move to the next slide. Yes, few invention like kerosene lamp. You heard about the kerosene lamp that is invented by the pharmacy by Jan Ignacy. Another pharmacist, that is a Colin Woodroach, that is a invented tranquilizer gum and disposable syringe. This New Zealand pharmacist have more than 45 patents. It is related with the medicine. I think China is also contributing very well into the field of pharmacist. He only is invented the electronic cigarette. Uh, India is also very famous in invention. We have very famous personality from India like Indravardhan Modi. It is the founder of Cadila Pharmaceutical, and Pankaj Patel. That is chairman of Cadila Healthcare. Now this Cadila Healthcare that also going to the evaluated and discover the COVID vaccines. If we talk about the pharmacy profession and what is the role into the global pandemic situation, I would like to explain what is the meaning of the pandemic. Pandemic is a Greek word and its meaning that pan means all and demic means the people. Means it is a kind of the epidemic. So what is epidemic? Epidemic is a one of the condition in which the infection is found in a community. When this infection is spread throughout the world, that is called as the pandemic. Nowadays, you heard about the COVID-19. It is one of the pandemic situation that is found throughout the world. Before going to the COVID-19 situation, we also understand previous pandemic situation. I think you heard about the plague. Plague is a one of the bacterial infection that is spread by the rat. In 14th century, around 200 million deaths are observed due to the plague. At that time, we does not able to develop the vaccines. Smallpox is another biggest tragedy into the health related problems. Around 4 million deaths are recorded per year due to the smallpox in 18th as well as 19th century. But due to the pharmaceutical development, it is observed that and who declared that in 1980 the smallpox is not found into the world. Similarly, 100 years before, exactly in 1980, there is a one disaster is there, that is a Spanish flu. It is similar like the COVID-19 situation, where there is a 500 million people they are affected and infected, and 50 million deaths are reported. But at that time, we are not able to discover the vaccines. Tuberculosis is another problem into the tropical countries. It is caused by the Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Nowadays, around 1.5 million deaths every year are observed due to the tuberculosis. But nowadays, India is able to manufacturing lots of drugs related to the tuberculosis. We have BCG vaccines that effectively treat the tuberculosis. We have dot therapy that is also manage the tuberculosis situation. But if you consider since last 30 years, we have new pandemic situation. You heard about the AIDS. AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. It is caused by the one of the virus, human immunodeficiency virus, and it reduces your immunity. So I think in 1980s beginning, HIV is transferred from the chimpanzee and gorilla to the human beings, and still now we are not able to produce the vaccines. Uh, it is observed that 32 million deaths are recorded since 1918 till now. But India is also promising in discovery of lots of drugs related to the AIDS. In 1986, there are first drug for the AIDS, that is the judovodin, and nowadays we are searching into the vaccine. If you consider the COVID-19 situation as nothing to say more, because all of you know very well about the COVID-19. It is infected by one virus. It is called as the RNA virus. That is a severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus. And you know, according to the WHO data, till now there are 18 millions are infected to the COVID-19 and 7 million deaths are already reported. The biggest question is that what we can do in this pandemic situation. Pharmacy, all the persons they are looking forward to the pharmacy, because pharmacy is a global profession and which dealing with the discovery of the novel drug. So pharmacy profession is very useful and give a solution of this pandemic situation. What pharmacy person do? Pharmacy person do in discovery of the vaccines and medicines for again this pandemic situation. We are also developing and synthesizing and manufacturing lots of vaccines and medicines for this pandemic situation. In community pharmacy, that is one of the biggest role to spread the infection against the COVID-19. So as a pharmacist, we can also contribute to the community pharmacy. In hospital and clinical pharmacy, we can also contribute as a safe and effective use of the medicines. So let's discussing what is the role of pharmacy in clinical trial and drug discovery. Before explaining the clinical trial and drug discovery, I will go with this diagram which represented how drug is discovered. There are two phases in drug discovery. First phase is called as a preclinical phase and second phase is called as a clinical trial phase. Whenever any new drugs or vaccine they are discovered, they have to go first in preclinical phase. What we are doing in preclinical phase, we are synthesize the drugs, medicines, and we can going the experiments with the animals like rat, and certain time we can also doing the experiments on higher primates like chimpanzee, gorilla and monkeys. The reason why we are performing the preclinical trial, we can ensure that drug is safe into the animals before using into the human beings. Once we have the good results into the into the animals, then we can have to take the approval from the US FDA. Once we get the approval from the human FDA for testing the drugs into the human, we have to go with the three phase of the clinical trial. Phase 1, that is performed onto the healthy subject, that is performed into very small population, around 20 to 80 healthy participants are used in phase 1 clinical trial. The concept of phase 1 is to check whether the drug is effective as into the animals, and we can also check the maximum tolerated dose into the human, as well as we can find out in which dose the drug produces its effect. Another aspect in phase 1 clinical trial, we can identify some side effects. If any drug has side effect, it cannot be used in further. So after completion of phase 1 and drug is effective, then it is goes into the phase 2 clinical trial. The concept of phase 2 clinical trial is it can be performed onto the large population, around 100 to 300 patients. Here you can it is called as a therapeutic exploratory trial. Here the drug is confirm its effectiveness and therapeutic uses into the disease patient. So here we can confirm that the dose treatment like 2 dose is useful, 3 dose or weak use of a drug that cure or prevent the disease. After the confirmation, the drug is goes into the phase 3 clinical trial, where we can perform the clinical trial on 300 to 10,000 patients. The reason why we can perform in this large population, because if you know, when drug is into the market, they goes into the every corner of the world, and there is a chances due to the genetic and hormonal makeup they produce any other effect or any more side effects. So here we can confirm that drug is efficacious into the all the patients all over the world and that have the least side effects. So once we do phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3 clinical trial, we can submit all the data to the FDA in America and EMA in Europe. So these are the authorities where they verify all the data about the safety and efficacy of any drug or vaccine, and they give the approval. And after the approval, now the company is able to manufacturing that product and sell into the market. That is called as the phase 4 clinical trial. So now drug is goes into every corner and that can be prescribed by the doctors. Many time what happens, the drug have serious adverse drug effect because there are certain limitation of clinical trial. It cannot perform in children, it cannot perform in pregnant women, but when it is into the market, the drug is consumed by the every person, so that may be chances of the side effects. So many times you heard that drug is withdraw, that is called as a phase 4 clinical trial. So that is just glimpse how the uh, drug or vaccines develop from preclinical to the clinical trial. Let's move ahead about understanding what is the role of pharmacy in clinical trial. A pharmacist can contribute a great role in clinical trial because everything is related with the drugs, and pharmacists have the all the idea related to the medicines. So in the clinical trial, the pharmacist can be contributed as a clinical research associate. What is meaning of clinical research associate? Which dealing with the coordinate all the clinical trial activities. It design the clinical trial. It can be also designed where to conduct the clinical trial, in which hospital they have to conduct the clinical trial. So you can also work as a clinical research associate. Pharmacists can also contributed in clinical trial assistant. During the clinical trial, lots of documentation that have to made. We have to execute the planning according to the clinical trial protocol. So that can be made by the clinical trial assistant. Third is the pharmacy assistant. Pharmacy assistant is dealing with the supply of the medicines, storage of the medicine, and make sure that the drug is available throughout the clinical trial. So pharmacy assistants also play a crucial role in clinical trial. Research nurse. You heard about the nurse, but this is a research nurse. Research nurse normally do giving the drugs to the patient, also collecting the blood samples, and you can analyze whether drug is effective or not. So that is the role of the research nurse in clinical trial. Trial administrator. Trial administrator and data management, these are the person who are overall looking forward to the documentation part, and they can also submit all the data to the FDA for the approval of the drug. You can see this picture in which I will there one person is there. There is a Michael Wright. It gives a first dose of the COVID-19 vaccines in March 16, 2020, and it is very famous as the first person who give the drugs or vaccines into the COVID-19 patients, and it is very famous. Now I will try to explain what is going on in this pandemic situation, and what is the scenario of the development of the COVID-19 vaccine. I think in the these are the all these big international pharmaceutical company, they are trying to prepare the vaccines, and these are the few of them. According to WHO data, uh, there are 25 pharmaceutical companies are there. They are already entered into the phase 1, 2 or 3 clinical trial. These are the AstraZeneca. This is the from the USA. They are in phase 3 clinical trial. The Sinovac and Sinopharm, they are from the Wuhan Pharmaceuticals from the China. Then Moderna from Pfizer from the USA. There are lots of companies from other countries are also there. Biotech, then CanSino Biological, ZFSW. India is also very promising in discovery of the COVID-19 vaccines, like Cadila Healthcare, Indian Immunologicals, and Bharat Biotech. They are leading pharmaceutical company who are also going to discover the vaccines, and all these data are obtained from the WHO website. So, drug discovery and clinical trial is one of the aspects into the pharmacy profession. Second aspects of the pharmacy profession is related with the community pharmacy. So what is the community pharmacy? Community pharmacy means the pharmacy service related to the community, related to the public. So pharmacy is dealing with the medicines. So all the medicines and health related information should be spread awareness into the community. That is called as a community pharmacy. So how the community pharmacy that contribute into the pandemic situation? First very important role of the pharmacist in community pharmacy is dispense the medication. That is one of the primary job of the pharmacist. So I think whenever you have the prescription, you go into the medical store and the pharmacist they identify the drugs and give you the medication. So appropriate essential medicine is given to the patient. That is one of the primary job related to the community pharmacy. Second, very important aspect is treat the minor illness. Certain developing countries like India and African countries, small minor illness like if you have fever, if you have diarrhea, if you have vomiting, and you have the cough, then drug can be also prescribed and given by the pharmacist. So you heard about the OTC, means over the counter medicines. So all the if you have small problems, then you can go with the pharmacist and pharmacist can give you the medicines. So that is related with the community pharmacy role. Third important role related to the community pharmacy is the educational and counseling the community. Education is very important to prevent the pandemic situation. How to use the gloves, how to use the sanitizer, how to use the mask, and this kind of education is very important to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 and other infectious disease. So again, in that we have to also counseling the patient, not only to the pandemic situation, but certain time you have to counseling the patient related to the medication. What is the, how can you use the medicine? How can it is given? What are the adverse drug reaction? If the patient have lots of question, and pharmacists are able to answer all the question related to the medicine. So that is another role as a community pharmacy. Other role of the community pharmacy is monitor the medicine supply and safe use. As you know, um, uh, all the uh, in all the hospital, it is mandatory to supply the proper drugs in all the medical stores. So we can ensure that in COVID-19 situation, all the drug must be supplied in a condition that no one can have the what we can say the less amount of drugs that is available in hospitals. Another role is ensure the supply of protective equipment. Nowadays, PPE kit, sanitizer, it is very essential element to manage the pandemic COVID-19 situation. So we can ensure that all the hospital have this PPE kit and sanitizer. Another new roles of the pharmacy is the telepharmacy and website-based services. I think telepharmacy and website-based services in certain region of the Africa, they are very useful where the patient are not able to go into the hospital. We have one very important drug information center in India. Also, it is found in the all the developed and developing country. What normally do in drug information center? All the information they are available on our website. So any person or any layman or any patient that can be also directly communicate with the phone or even from the website they're getting the information related to the medication. So all this information that can be provided under the scope of the community pharmacy. These are few very good pictures related to the COVID-19 pandemic situation. If you see the first picture where this lady and other person, they are counseling online. So in COVID-19 situation, when the patients are quarantined, if they want to information related to medicines, the pharmacist provide all the medication information, how can we prevent, and whatever assistance need during the quarantine, that can be provided by the counseling center. This is second picture. You can see in India there is a screening of COVID-19 patient. As you know, COVID-19 is rapidly spread if you not identify the patient in early stage. So in India and every country, most of the pharmacists they can be screen the COVID-19 patient and identified and quarantine them, so that prevent the further spread of infection. If you see, this is the third picture where one lady is taking this sample of the COVID-19 patient by COVID-19 patient. So it is official in USA that pharmacists using this swab, they take the samples from the nose and mouth, and they can be sent into the laboratory. If you see the fourth picture, it is related with the testing of COVID-19 positive. Here pharmacists are also testing for the COVID-19 because they are very well aware about the conditions. If you see the last picture, that is talking about the hospital scenario where pharmacists are contributing in treatment of the COVID-19 patients. So overall, in this pandemic situation, pharmacists can not only work in drug discovery, but it are also helpful in screening, sampling, testing, and treatment of the COVID-19 patient. If I talked about the different countries, community pharmacists play a crucial role and become a front line against the COVID-19 situation. If you see the Australia, they have the Australian health system. According to this Australian health system, I found that the pharmacist is only the first persons who can contact all the people and give the advice related to the COVID-19, and anything problems or anything have these anything they are, the people want to counseling related to COVID-19, they have to first contact with the pharmacist. So the pharmacist is going a good role into the Australia. Not only Australia, but if you see in European countries, they have the one association that is called as the European Pharmacy Network. The role of European Pharmacies Network is dissemination of the lots of information to citizens on how to prevent the spread of the COVID-19. They also launches a lots of series and initiative related to the training and professionals related to the COVID-19 situation. If you consider the USA, all these COVID-19 related tasks like sampling of the COVID-19 patient, testing into the laboratory about the positivity of the COVID-19 samples. It also gives the medication advice and also anything related to counseling related to medication. It is also done by the pharmacist. If you see the UK, UK is also pharmacists do a great job. They are deliver the essential counseling information. They can also supply the medicines to the patients and local communities. Pharmacist role is not only great into the developed country, but they are in African countries. They are also doing well. In African countries like Nigeria, the pharmacists provide the medication counseling and pharmaceutical related care. They are also provide the so much information on the person who are in self isolation and those who require the home delivery service related to the medicine. They are also provide the counseling using the telepharmacy. If you see the India, the pharmacist role is day by day increases. Anything related to the medication counseling, that is done by the pharmacist. Anything related to the pharmaceutical care, that is also take care by the pharmacist. In India, lots of health immunization program run by the government, and mostly the pharmacists play a big role into the immunization program. We are also performing lots of counseling advice during this pandemic situation. So that is the information related to the community pharmacy. Now we are moving third aspects of the pharmacy profession, that is related with the clinical and hospital pharmacy. What is the meaning of clinical and hospital pharmacy? Here we are giving our valuable knowledge in clinical aspects, into the hospital aspects, into the real patient. Here the first important information, or you can say the first information job of the pharmacist is filling the medication as per the prescription. If you see in the hospital, doctor prescribe the medication. It is our prime duty to give the medication as per the prescription. Second important duty into the clinical and hospital pharmacy is related to the general public. Here we can give the guidance to the general public and online care. How to use the mask, how to use the sanitizer, same thing again. Here we can also give to the hospital information. Third is generation of the medical network. Here we can generate certain guideline, develop and monitoring this guideline whether it is working as per the guideline, like in pandemic situation. Fourth important aspects in clinical and hospital pharmacy is related with the ICU. I think you know about the ICU, that is an intensive care unit. When patient having the emergency, they have to admit into the ICU unit. So as you know, in ICU unit, a very potential drug are used. But the problem with this potential drug is the therapeutic effect, but they also produce very adverse effect. If the dose is slightly high, it produces the adverse effect. So this is a concept that is called as therapeutic drug monitoring. In therapeutic drug monitoring, pharmacists play a vital role in monitoring the drug concentration into the blood. Whenever there is a high concentration of drug, that can be lead to the adverse effect. So pharmacists monitor the blood level drugs, and if it is find more, then can reduce the second dose, and that's why there is a maximum beneficial effect of the drug instead of the adverse effects, and that can causes a good effect, life-saving effect onto the patient. Very important aspects in hospital, that is the patient counseling. As you know, counseling is very important in treatment and prevention of any disease. Counseling related to the medicines, counseling related to how to use the medicines, that is also important. So all the aspects related to the medicine, that is counseling by the patient in hospital. Very important role. Last one is the adverse drug reaction evaluation report and management. As you know, till now, if allopathic drug is there, it does not have that it is safe drug. All the allopathic drug have the adverse effect. So the pharmacist has the prime job that it report the adverse drug react and prevent and also manage adverse drug reaction. So if any person that have the allergy, it is a primary job of the pharmacist to take the medication history of the person and try to mitigate the side effects. So that is all the aspects related with the clinical and hospital pharmacy. So this is the third point that I'm trying to convey with you. Now I prepare a pharmacy profession video. Today I am prepare a good video for you. In RK University, we have basically two courses running. One is the B.Pharm course, that is a 4-year course, and second is the PharmD course, that is a 5 years course plus 1 year internship. Both the courses are approved by the government. Today I make with my team a video where I'm trying to explain what the students of pharmacy profession they are doing and they are learned in RK University, and that will be really helpful to understanding the pharmacy profession. So let's look at the video. Before moving to video, I will explain you. Basically, there are 4 subjects into the pharmacy. One is the pharmaceutics. Pharmaceutics is explaining how to drug is manufacturing, how the drug is converted in any formulation like tablet, capsule. Second subject is called as the pharmaceutical chemistry. It includes organic, inorganic chemistry, medicinal chemistry and analytical chemistry. Here students are understand how to synthesize any allopathic medicines and also understand how these medicines are uh, prepared as per the guideline. We can check the purity, we can check their analysis, and it must meet the guideline. Third subject is pharmacology and clinical practice. It is very important subject all over the world because it dealing with the knowledge of the drug. Here students are also understand and learn about the various concepts like clinical pharmacy, community pharmacy, and they can also learn about the prescription medication, how to use the medicine, what are the adverse drug reaction associated with the medicine, what are the drug-drug interaction. All this study can be done under the subject pharmacology. Fourth subject is pharmacognosy, where student can understand the various medicine that is obtained from the natural source like plant and animal source. Like you heard the insulin that is obtained from animal source. Like certain you heard the vincristine, that is very important drug that is obtained from the vinca plant. So here the students need to basic knowledge about the medicinal plant. So I think without wasting time, I will start the video that will be explain you what students learn here. Let's see the video.
This is pharmaceutical chemistry lab. Students do practical on synthesis, identification test and characterization of organic and inorganic medicines using analytical grade laboratory reagents and equipment like TLC chamber, electronic balance, UV cabinet and lots of other instruments. Here students are performing acid-base, gravimetric, complexometric and other type of assay methods to identify and characterize the medicines. This is high performance liquid chromatography instrument which is useful in characterization and identification of pharmaceutical substances. It is also useful in drug science, clinical science, food technology, combinatorial chemistry, polymer chemistry. This is flame photometer. which is useful in detection of cation and anion like sodium, potassium, calcium in liquid formulation. This is digital nephelometer, which is useful to measure the turbidity in liquid pharmaceutical formulation. This is Carl Fisher moisture analyzer, which is useful to detect water and humidity in medicine. This is a double con blender mixture. It mixes active medicament used in tablet and other ingredients like binder. This is the most popular and widely used instrument in pharmaceutical industry. It is a tablet compression machine. This machine is useful in preparation of tablets of different sizes. It has capacity to produce 60,000 tablets per hour. This machine is also have capacity to produce different size of tablets. It is a pan coater machine which coats the tablets by sugar and other ingredients and make the tablet sweet. This is a friability test apparatus. It is used to determine tablet hardness as per the standard guideline. This is a tablet disintegration test apparatus. It is used to analyze disintegration time of tablet and capsules in our body stomach. This is a dissolution test apparatus. It is normally used to check dissolution of tablet and capsule in your stomach and intestine in controlled body temperature 37 degree. It gives an idea about how much time tablet takes to produce action on body. It must meet the standards of US and Indian pharmacopoeia. It is a fully automated machine. Here the environment is same as your stomach, and tablet goes into the stomach. What happened with the stomach when tablet goes? It broke down in small pieces and fine particles, so which gives the idea how the tablet react to our body and stomach and how it dissolves it and it goes into the blood. This is anatomy, physiology and pharmacology lab where students study about structure and function of human body and relate with the medicine. Here we make learn students about adverse drug effects, drug-drug interaction, drug and prescription study of medicines and its evaluation. This is our animal house, which is approved by CPCACA, Animal Welfare Board, Government of India. Here we have laboratory animals like rat, mice, guinea pig, which will be used in testing of medicines in study and research purpose after getting approval from IAEC, that is an Institutional Animal Ethical Committee. This is Pharmacognosy lab and museum where students learn about herbal medicine. We have medicinal garden having more than 200 medicinal plants. Our medical garden has been incubated in Herbal Garden Network of India. Students learned here about the cultivation, collection, identification of various herbal plants used in medicines.
I think you can understand what pharmacy students they can learn here in RK University, and that give you just glimpse of pharmacy profession and what students learn at the institute level. Now moving to the ahead, the last key learning aspects of today's webinar, it is a pharmaceutical manufacturing. Over the last decade, pharmaceutical manufacturing and drug discovery at on the top level. We are able to synthesize so many vaccines and drugs. If you see, there are lots of incurable disease in last few years before. There is a tuberculosis are there, smallpox vaccines are smallpox are there. These are incurable diseases. But because of the drug discovery and manufacturing aspects of the pharmacy, the the world get the vaccines and that cure the disease. If you see the pharmaceutical manufacturing practice, we can manufacturing not only the medicines. First aspects in manufacturing is the medicines. In pharmaceutical manufacturing, that is include the medicines production, that includes the allopathic medicines. Allopathic medicines means the drugs that is synthesized from the organic sources. Second aspects into the manufacturing of the medicines is biologicals. Biological means those substances which are obtained from the biological source. So antibiotic, vaccines, serological products, they are called as the biologics. So pharmaceutical manufacturing also includes the biological. Third is the herbal medicines. Nowadays there is also an important role of the herbal into the medicine. So all the medicine aspects of the herbal there are also under the pharmaceutical manufacturing. Similarly with the homeopathic, we cannot not only manufacturing the medicines, but we can also manufacturing the intermediates and the raw materials from which the drugs is synthesized. If you consider the another manufacturing aspects is the medical devices. Nowadays you can see lots of medical devices comes into the market, like blood pressure monitoring device, certain bands are available, weight machines are there, certain surgical equipments are there, there are glucometers are there, chairs are there. So all these equipments are also considered as a part of the pharmaceutical manufacturing. Nowadays whenever there is a heart surgery are there, you can heard about the stent. Stent is a one small equipment that is inserted into the coronary artery in the treatment of the coronary artery disease problem. There are also joint replacement therapies are there when the patient having the problem like rheumatoid arthritis. So these are also include the medical device. Medical device manufacturing are also include certain diagnostic equipment like CT scan, MRI, X-ray machines, and lots of other tools are there which is useful in diagnosis of the disease. So pharmaceutical manufacturing are also includes the uh, synthesis of the medical devices. We are also included the in this pandemic situation PPE kit, a certain bandage, certain gloves. These are also included as a medical devices. Another aspects in pharmaceutical manufacturing is the nutraceuticals. I think nutraceuticals is not directly related with the medicine, but company also prepare the nutraceuticals like the protein powders. I think you heard about the in diabetic condition we cannot consume the sugar. So nowadays, like Cadila Healthcare, they prepare the sugar-free tablets, and you know there is a huge market of the nutraceuticals. So what I am trying to emphasize, the pharmaceutical manufacturing is on not only related with the synthesis and manufacturing of the medicines, but nowadays it is also uh, uh, re- uh, great revenue generated from the medical devices as well as the nutraceuticals. If you see the global scenario, this is the top 20 pharma company in the world according to their annual turnover. I think I will explain few of them: Johnson and Johnson, Roche, Fiber, Novartis, Sanofi, Bayer, GlaxoSmithKline, Merck, Abbott, and lots of other pharmaceutical companies are there. These are the world leading top 20 pharmaceutical company according to the 2018 data. And many of these global pharmaceutical company, uh, they are also going to the discover of the COVID-19 vaccines like Pfizer, Novartis, Sanofi. They are all working onto the clinical trial phase, and I hope within short period of time we have the COVID-19 vaccine. If you see the Indian scenario, India play a vital role into the pharmacy field, and it is very happy with his role as a leader. If you see, these are the few leading pharmaceutical company in India: Sun Pharma, Arbindo, Piramal, Intas, Zydus Cadila, Glenmark, Cipla, Dr. Reddy's, and Lupin. There are so many pharmaceutical company, but these are few of them according to their annual turnover. India is a largest producer of the generic medicine. I think you know about the generic medicines. Generic medicines is prescribed by any medicine without that brand name. If you see among this generic medicine, 40 percentage of generic medicine they are supplied to the USA, and India also produces 20 percentage of the generic medicine of the total global production. If you consider the vaccine production, India produces 50 percentage of the total global demand of the vaccines. And there are totally 30 different Indian pharmaceutical companies. They are trying to produce vaccines for the COVID-19. Few of them working in preclinical trial phase, and three companies, that is the Indian Immunologicals, then Cadila, they are working on to the phase 2 and phase 3 clinical trial on COVID-19 situation. There is a very good thing about India in this COVID-19 pandemic situation. India not only trying to discover and develop the COVID-19 vaccine, but they are also supply the medicine related with the COVID-19 to the our uh, country, more than 133 countries. That is a good thing about India. These are few references which I used to prepare this webinar, and thank you for listening me. If you consider for RK University provided two very important pharmacy course. One course is the B Farm, that is a 4-year course. Second is the PharmD course, where it is a very premium course, that is a 5 year course plus 1 year internship. RK University has all the necessary infrastructure related with the PharmD. It has a very 700 bed hospital tie-up with the government hospital, so they can be understand all the aspects of the pharmacy like community pharmacy, right, hospital pharmacy. We have very well infrastructure laboratory that is mitigate that is actually as per the PCI and all the authority guideline as per. We have also we are also doing good laboratory practice. We have very established animal house where we are doing the research onto the animal. We have good medicinal garden, and we have all the necessary equipment, very good equipment that is necessary to learn for the students. So this is regarding my webinar. I hope the pharma sectors play a very good role in discovery of the COVID-19 vaccines, and I hope in next 2 or 3 months we are able to develop the vaccines, and we can overcome with this pandemic situation. If you want to contact RK University in context of the pharmacy course, you can note down our website and our email ID. You can also contact anytime on our WhatsApp numbers. We have more than 50 programs in RK University related with the engineering, related with the medicines, related with the MBA. We are also running the PhD program. So I hope you enjoy this webinar.